Nora Speaks is a weekly podcast that tugs at the soul and consciousness of the Black community. With show topics such as youth empowerment, education, women's impact, and civic engagement, Nora Speaks challenges the listener to not only join the movement, but be the movement. On the show, you'll learn from insightful guests who have demonstrated capacity in these fields and more, and I'm your host, Nora Muhammad. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode of the Nora Speaks podcast, and I'm your host, Nora Muhammad, and I'm excited to bring you episode 240 of the podcast. And this is the second part of a three-part conversation discussing unity, faith, and leadership. And the ultimate objective of the podcast is to share information, conversation, resources, and ideas to improve the conditions of our people, whether we are in the boardroom, whether we're in the break room. Wherever we find ourselves, we should recognize that we are unique people, having had a unique experience and history in North America. And so because of that, we have certain unique challenges and we have to address them. And I don't believe that we can find an effective remedy for these challenges without employing unity, faith, and leadership. And so last episode, 239, I discussed unity. This episode, I am going to be discussing faith. What is faith? Right? Faith is belief. Faith is confidence that something is going to happen. Something is going to occur. It's a strong belief. It's a certain confidence. There's no doubt in faith. And if you grew up in a church like I did, you remember the preacher teaching us that faith is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. We have to have faith. I remember learning this and hearing this over and over in church, over and over in Sunday school. You have to have faith. And what I was being taught, though I didn't understand it at the time, is that we must be confident. We have to have belief. And I've learned and been taught that praying in doubt is no prayer at all. So if we are praying or wishing or wanting something to happen, but there's the least doubt, then we're in conflict with what we say it is that we want. We have to have faith. We have to be confident that something is going to happen. Now, let's think about the things that we have confidence in. We have confidence that we're going to find food at the supermarkets where we shop, right? We have faith in that. We have faith that our municipality is going to provide water daily for cooking, for drinking, and for bathing. We have faith that our local officials are going to have schools for our children to attend. We have faith that our federal government assistance is going to arrive monthly. We have faith in institutions. We have faith in these systems. But these are not controlled by our people. And so we have faith and we can be confident. It's not that Black people, we don't have faith and confidence. We have plenty of it, just not for ourselves. Right? So if we are looking to improve the outcomes in our community, then that means that we are going to have unity, yes, and also have faith in the possibility, in the probability, in the success of us using that unity that I talked about last week to rectify the conditions that we're experiencing day in and day out. If we don't have trust and confidence in ourselves, then we are at a handicap. I can't imagine Chinese people in China not having faith in their own people, right? I can't imagine Italian people in Italy not having faith in themselves and saying, no, we have to go to the Chinese so that they can address our issues. We want to make sure that we have water, clean water. We want to make sure we have schools for our children. We want to make sure that our government is governing effectively. We need the Chinese for that. I mean, Italian people don't think like that. Chinese people don't look for others to come to manage their own affairs. Even in the United States of America, right? Right now, we're in a political season, and the government is deciding, and the people are deciding who's going to be the next president of the United States and other elected officials. There's a faith, there's a confidence that there are people who are qualified and who are prepared to take on these roles to lead. Now, what about us, Black people in America? Do we have confidence and faith in ourselves? Or are we satisfied in maintaining confidence and faith in those who are responsible for the systems that oppress us? It does not. It's counterintuitive. I mean, think about right now, there's the awful war that's happening overseas. I don't think that the Palestinians have faith that those who are bombing them are going to also make sure that they have clean water, are also going to make sure that their children could be educated properly in the schools. I don't think that makes sense. When you have been under threat, when you have been under duress, when you have not just been under threat and duress, but when your lives have been taken, when your humanity has been trounced upon, that you would turn and maintain faith and confidence that your needs should be met by those who dismiss your humanity or dismiss your ability to live and thrive within your own kind and within your own people. That doesn't make sense. But us here, we talk about all of the challenges that we see in our communities. I was just watching, I think it may have been Tony Brown's Journal. It was a journalist. This was in the 1970s, I think, or late 1960s, and they had all kinds of leaders. They had leaders, the Christian National leader. They had Dick Gregory on there. They had Amiri Baraka of Newark on there. They had Dorothy Height, the National Coalition of Negro Women. They had CORE, a representative from CORE, representative from SNCC. They had all of these leaders. It may have been 10 of them. And they were talking about the challenges that we are impacted by in our communities, in our neighborhoods, across this nation. And the same challenges that they were talking about in the late 60s, in the 70s, we continue to face. So clearly, the solutions that we've been applying to change and remedy our conditions have not been effective. And we turn and we're still looking for others to resolve our concerns because we don't have faith. We should be able to turn to our right and left, those people who are closest to us, those people who know us best, those people who love us, and say, how can we make changes? Now, first, we're not going to do it without unity. We're not going to do it without faith. We do not have faith and confidence in ourselves, our individual selves, and in our collective selves. If we did have faith and confidence, then nothing should stop us, and our conditions should have changed overnight. But the confidence and the faith, the self-love, that those natural qualities that a people have for themselves was decimated in our experience here in this nation. And so we have to build it back up. One, we have to know and understand our history. We have to understand where we find ourselves, how we got here. And we also have to understand the intelligence that we have to employ to resolve these undesirable circumstances that we're in. And I say intelligence because going and, I appreciate all of those men and women who sacrifice themselves, sacrifice their families, their time with their families, who sacrifice their resources in the civil rights movement, right? But that was us having faith that the American government, that the systems in America could be changed so that our demands will be met. Our demands of civil rights, our demands of our humanity being honored and respected. And here we are all these years later, and we're still marching and protesting and asking for our human rights, our civil rights to be respected. So we have faith, or we had faith that integration, right? We had faith that new laws would remedy the challenges that we face, the inequality that we face then, and yet we still continue to face it today. We have to have confidence that we don't have to look outside of our own circle, look outside of our own community to have our needs, our most basic needs met. Again, I'll say, Japan isn't looking for England to govern them, to manage their affairs. It's not happening. Japan is confident that they have the people, the qualified people, to manage and govern their affairs. And they will educate and they will train their own people so that the next generation can continue on. And we don't recognize that we are should be a unified people seeking to govern, manage our affairs. I mean, wherever we live, the municipality, the town, we pay taxes and all of these things that a municipality should provide for its citizens. We should have an expectation, because we're taxpayers, that we should get that. But we should also remember that we were not included in those entitlements that were outlined in the original document of this nation, the Constitution. So we should recognize that we are living in this dichotomy. And so in those areas where we find ourselves dissatisfied, where we find that our conditions are just not as they should be, I mean, we can certainly say to our municipalities where we're paying our taxes, those of us who are paying taxes, right? Those of us who are voting, we could say, listen, this is my expectation. Now, aside from that, are we just going to wait for others to meet these expectations? Or are we going to say, now, meanwhile, this is what we have to do for ourselves, and have confidence that what it is that we need, we can attain. Everything that we need comes right out of the earth. When you go to the supermarkets, right, we're buying produce, it's coming out of the earth, right? We're wearing clothes, right? Cotton comes out of the earth. You want that steak dinner, right? Well, that came from an animal. It came from a cow. Well, the same means that we go to our local supermarkets to purchase goods to satisfy our needs. Do we not have confidence that we can implement those same systems to provide for our own needs? Schools. We say we're dissatisfied with what's happening in the schools. Some of us are. Well, then have those who are among you, who believe like you, and who understand how to educate, how to teach children, and set up a school. I mean, when we think about the founding of this nation, and certainly they did use slave labor, right? Stolen labor, stolen people, and used these people and built up their nation. But all of the systems that they implemented to provide for their needs, they had confidence that they could do it effectively. And they did it effectively for themselves. And all of a sudden, we look around at each other and we say, Black people can't get together and do anything. That's because you don't have faith. We have to have faith. We have to have confidence. And we have to instill this faith and confidence in our children, because we raise children and train them to go to those who we say are the oppressors, who we say continue to erect and maintain systems that oppress us. We say, go to them for your education, go to them for your job, go to them for your clothing, right? Go to them for your water, go to them for your food. We can't have it both ways. So we have to look to ourselves, have faith and confidence in ourselves. And I'll just add in my closing that people really bank on the lack of faith, the lack of confidence that we have, the lack of unity that we have. I mean, our lack of unity, our lack of confidence in self is so profitable. I mean, consider the businesses in the communities where you live. And we say Black people can't get together to do anything. We say we don't have money to do anything. But look at the businesses in the community where you live. Predominantly Black communities. Are they predominantly Black owned and operated? They're not. So clearly, they recognize that when we open a business, we're not going to support that business in unity. We don't have confidence in the entrepreneur. We don't have confidence in the shop owner. We're going to continue, whether we're buying hair, whether we're buying liquor, whether we're buying fast food, whatever it is that we're buying. They know that we don't have confidence or unity to do it for self. So they come into our communities, set up shop, and send their children to college, purchase homes for their family, for their wives, so that they can be comfortable. And they're unified in doing it, and they have every confidence that they will be successful. So we have to raise our children to have confidence. Tell them, take them through your town and look at this business, look at that business, and say, how come we are not running this establishment? How come we don't have a grocery store, right? Heck, hair supply. I mean, all the billions of dollars we spend on cosmetics, we could at least get in on that and buy and sell each other this hair that we like to put on our heads. You know, so without confidence, without unity, and without leadership, we will continue to be in this deficit. And so it is a must that we have at least these 3 essential tools if we're ever going to be successful in changing the condition of our people. I look forward to next week where we're going to talk about leadership. Until next time, stay in peace.
We were brought here as a piece of property. And to keep that piece of property, it is to not allow the property to know the value of the property. What I mean by that, if you had known the history of yourself, you would not have been made a slave. And you won't be a slave now if you have a knowledge of yourself. It's hard to enslave a person that have equal knowledge with you. You just can't do it. And so this knowledge of yourself is the thing that will free you from what you have been suffering from.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Nora Speaks podcast. Be on the lookout for a new episode coming at you fresh next week. And as always, if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do, visit my website, noramahammed.com. Or if you have a listener question, email me at info@noraspeaks.com. You can also follow the Nora Speaks podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nora Speaks Podcast. I'll be sure to include links in the show notes. If this show has value to you, please subscribe, rate, and review, and share it with family and friends. And be sure to check out previous episodes. And remember, don't just join the movement, be the movement. Stay in peace.